Meow 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 meow
Audio
meow
Jungle.
meow meow meow.
Hello, my name is and this is the fourth entry of U.T.P. And here we have Black Adam from the Hot Toys DX29 release. It wasn't really a release that I had on my like watch list or anything, but I got a good deal on it from a friend on Facebook, so like way cheaper than retail, but so I didn't want to pass on it because to be honest, I don't have that many villains. Like I know in this movie, it's been a while since I've seen it. It's like 2 or 3 years ago I've seen it. Since I last saw it, I mean, like they made him into an anti-hero, but still, he could. I think I could pull it off as portraying him as a villain. Like maybe not him doing a villainous pose or whatever, but it's nice to have some diversity in the collection. For to be honest, I got like I'm pretty sure it's 100% heroes. I don't have any supervillains, so we'll just classify him as a supervillain. Well, it's a pretty big box. But this is what the inside looks like. It's got a foam padding. And I did well after doing like 4 of these videos, I've been getting into the habit of trying to check the quality before I film, just so I don't get any surprises or anything. Or it says on the text here, I can show you. Specially developed new muscular body, and I did feel it. It was pretty heavy the last time I felt it. It's been like a couple months, but I'm behind on schedule of shooting videos. Specialized fabric allowing LED lighted emblem function. This one, it feels like a rubbery material here. And rolling eyeball function. I don't know too much about the history of Hot Toys, but I think every DX release is rolling eyeballs. And now they're becoming the standard for like any kind of 6-scale figure. I'm noticing, which I think is good because it gives more life to the figure, but it's a pretty tight fit and all that. When I tried testing out a bit of the articulation, I noticed that it's a bit stiff with articulation. I haven't tested everything, but as you can see, it doesn't really go flush by the sides. I think maybe if you click it, right? No, it just pops right back up. If you try to do that trick where you push the butterfly joint up, and then you push it to the side, I don't think it works on this one, but we'll talk about it later. I'm just gonna, well, in the first tray you get the hands too, as well as the body, but underneath it, let's see, you get the instructions, the cloak. I was pretty impressed by the embroidery here. It looks nice, but I haven't felt it yet. But we've got the bass and the electric effects. I'll pause the video here and I'll pull out and lay out all the accessories. I'll be right back. When I was buying this figure, I didn't even ask if it was like the DX30 or DX31 because the deal was too good. I didn't want to be rude to my friend, asking like, well, I'm not gonna get it if it's that one, but so I didn't want to pass up on it. But I forgot that this release even existed with just the standard hexagon base, because I thought when this figure came out, I thought it was just that Black Adam throne, the destroyed throne look for that diorama base. I thought that was the standard for like both versions, because there was the the golden armor version, and this it's not battle damage, but it's like the dirty version. I don't know how else to call it because the belts and the gauntlets they're covered in soot or whatever. That's how it was in the movie, but I didn't even realize this was a release because I thought both of them came with that they call it the people's eyebrow sculpt, the thing he does in the WWE for when he's wrestling as The Rock. But I thought I didn't know it didn't come with that one, so that was a bit disappointing. But I'm not gonna dock points or anything like that, just because it's how it came. But what does confuse me though is calling this a DX because it doesn't come with much. It does come with a cape. I couldn't include it in the shot because there wasn't enough space, but it's a nice feeling cape, and I believe there are wires. I believe so, but we'll test it out more. They feel strong, but we'll test that later. So, and this thing, even the standard one, does go pretty high in the aftermarket, like 400 to 450, which I think is a bit overpriced, but I don't know, maybe it was a low production run, and that's why it's so sought after. And plus, I know people do customs for just like a wrestling look for The Rock, and the sculpt is pretty nice. Like, I can't deny that. It's you can see his likeness from any angle. I just moved the eyeballs a bit up after I cut the video. Ugh, excuse me. But one thing I noticed when taking off the head is that there's not much. Or I can't fit it in the shot. Hold on. There's not much neck articulation or head articulation. I mean, like the furthest you could go up. I don't know if you heard it squeak, but that is the furthest. I barely moved it. But going down. Oh, something. This pops out often when I was trying to fix this little neck piece. I wish it was just a part of the body instead of like a separate piece. So maybe you could move the neck too, if there was a way to do that. Like this one's just a singular plastic piece, but with some figures I've noticed, like usually it's the only one I have for reference is the Black Widow one, but you can move the neck. That's like a soft plastic over here to get more articulation, but that's not possible with this one. But you can tilt it a bit, side to side. It's pretty nice for the tilt. I'll give it that. But I think going up and down is pretty important too. But I'm guessing they didn't want to do that just because it might affect the visible seam. Or hold on, the lighting's kind of bad. My apologies, but you can barely notice it from the side, like not at all once you're facing it head on. But from the side, it's just a little bit noticeable, and I'm guessing they didn't want to create a gap or something just because it might defeat the realism. But I wish I could look up a bit more than that and down a bit more than that. But move on to the arms. Oh, it's like moving outwards as I try to move it up instead of going in a singular motion. Yeah, it doesn't really want to go up that much. I mean, my English sucks, but it's on ratchets. Careful with the bunching, but elbow double bend holds up nicely, but just again careful with the bunching. Something I noticed is that the hands are pretty big, but he's a big guy, so I guess it would make sense. Standard wrist peg swivel. This piece over here is like a golden bank. Well, it's not golden because of the soot, but it's a floating piece, and it was kind of coming off loose when I tried moving it. So be careful with that part. But leg articulation. I'm sorry it's in the shadows here. Well, my light sucks, but I think it's on ratchets, but oh, sorry, I kicked the camera. That one's kind of stressing it out a bit, so not much, but... Or wait, this one feels restricted too. I can't really bend the knees that much, but... Yeah, there's not much knee bend. It looked more in the instructions, but... I mean, it looked like I could do more in the instructions, I meant to say. I can't find the page right now, but... Careful. I think... I'm not sure if the... Or I hear the Velcro. These are attachable with Velcro for the knee pads. So you don't have to worry about damaging that, it looks like. The ankle articulation. The instructions said you can move it... My voice cracked, god dang. You can move it in any direction. It's not so much pivoting, but up and down is no problem. Or maybe it's one of those wrist pegs, or not wrist pegs, but the ankle peg where you have to move it side to side to get the ankle pivot. I'm not sure. But waist articulation. I don't think it's on ratchets. But it's a bit restricted because of the electronics inside. Twist. Torso twist, I mean. It's pretty decent, or it's kind of bouncing back, but I think it's decent. What else? Or can you pivot? Yeah, you can do it. A little bit. Hopefully I'm not damaging the electronics. That's what I'm most excited about this thing, is lighting it up. What else can I test for articulation? I don't think so, but as you can see, you're not going to get much because of the rubber suit, I mean. But it's kind of a payoff because there is so much detail here from the how do you pronounce it? Hieroglyphs, yeah. Because I don't remember much about this movie. It wasn't that memorable. I know when I was looking up for pose inspiration, that painted black scene for that needle drop, I thought that, in my memory, that was more exciting. Like, how do I word it? I remember it being more exciting than when I rewatched U.T.P, but it could have been a little bit better with action, but the costume design, I think all around, like a Dr. Fate, what was it, Atom Smasher, Cyclone, those were all excellent costumes, and Hawkman. But yeah, the detail all around is pretty excellent, so sometimes it's a trade-off when you want to go for the movie accuracy and also functionality. But what I remembered it is I thought there was a bit more shine to the gold. Like, I know there's two different distinct looks, like one that's super bright gold and one that's this one, the dirty sooty covered in soot gold. But I thought it popped out a bit more. But after looking at some of the images, it is pretty accurate to what it looked like. So in certain lighting, it'll pop a bit. As you can see at the ankles right there, there's a bit of shine. I'll show off the LEDs in the first pose, but so far it's looking good. It'll probably improve or what would I say? What I meant to say was I think
A motherfucking damn ham a fucking sandwich.
okay. What I'm trying to say is that I think it'll look cooler with the effects on, but we'll show that off in the post section. Putting in the cable in the back suit, it was not an easy task. Um, it kept like disconnecting. Luckily, I got it in eventually, but what I recommend is using some tweezers if you have any spare ones. But just be careful not to damage the cord when you're using tweezers, because that's what I was nervous about. I had to fidget a lot. I don't think I connected the suit right, like all the way, but I did the best I could. You're not going to see the back anyways, but the cable was annoying, just so you know. It's not going to be easy, but I think it is worth it. It's a nice brightness to it. Like it's not as bright as it looks like on camera, but it is still a nice like level of brightness. But attaching the lightning effects, that was also a pain, but also worth it, because I wasn't sure if it looked better shooting outwards or inwards, but just so I can get more bend in the elbow, I decided to just leave this one outwards. But on the instructions, I think it says you can only use the fist, but I'll have to double check. But I managed to put in the open palm hand. It wasn't that easy. I don't think you're supposed to, but it's what I wanted, so I forced it to do it. But just be careful, because maybe I don't recommend it if you're worried about damaging paints. Cause I think I did. Damage something over here because I saw something peeling on the effect. I probably won't be able to capture it, but with this pose, I didn't want to turn on the turntable just because it's leaning over, so it'll be at risk to fall damage, and I got enough of that. But I'll try not to break anything this time. The Scarlet Witch, I don't think there was any damage, but it annoyed me when I dropped that head. But at least with this one, you don't have to worry about the styling hair at all. But all the skull details and the vein work, it does look really nice here. I do think the head sculpt's 10 out of 10. I just wish it came with that second raised eyebrow sculpt, but it is what it is. But we'll talk about that later. But I think it's a nice pose. Just it doesn't look good in all angles, because from the side it's awkward with the leg, just because of the rigidness or the stiffness of the legs. Plus, I don't got a double bend knee. You can barely pose, like move around the knee. I wish it had more range over here, as well as over here. But I got it tilted all the way down for the toes or whatever. But just to create more flow. But from any other side, it'll look stiff. But head on, I think it's a nice pose, but a little too risky just because it might fall over. But we'll move on to the second pose. After putting on the cape, I think I just started liking this figure a lot more with the cape on, just because the extra pop of the golden embroidery just gives it a lot more life. And when I start testing, not testing, well, yeah, I guess testing, but I was gonna say playing with the wires, they're really strong, and there's plenty of wires in the back and along the edges, just everywhere. I didn't even know it came with this little like scarf piece, but that has a strong wire too. But and the hood too, that has wires. But I'll put the hood on in the next pose just to see what it looks like. But for now, I wanted to blow in the wind, but it's not as detailed or perfect as I'd like it to be. But I just wanted to see what it was capable of with the wires, and I'm pretty impressed with it. I didn't put on this piece yet because I think I do want to put it on for my display, just to have it on around his chest. But oh no, I think the symbol went off. the little wire. I think they call it the multi-tap or something. It's a stupid design, but this little wire, it's way too flimsy. It feels way too cheap. The little plug-in or whatever, that little piece, it always disconnects. I was having problems installing it in the back of this. Where you install it is in the back piece behind the chest. Well, I guess you just call it the back, but you open the Velcro, and that's a nightmare to deal with because it always tries to close back up. But if you pull hard enough, still carefully, but if you do pull hard enough, it'll work out eventually. Except the hard part is, I don't know if it'll show on camera, but that wire keeps disconnecting. I mean, I know it's spinning, but it's a pretty slow speed right now. But I wish it didn't disconnect so often. But and I'm sorry, I'm not switching out the arms or hands, but that's the combination I like, the left open palm, the right fist. I mean, you don't get that much hands to begin with, but there's not much to showcase here. There's a slightly curled one, or more open one, and then you get the fist. But I mean, it comes with enough. I'm not sure if there was any iconic hand gestures he did in the movie, but it's good enough and it's serviceable. This cape, I'm really in love with this cape. I'm glad it came with this one because I think the the golden armor, as much as I love like the golden pops of the belts and the gauntlets, I think the cape is kind of weak in that one. I think it looked like waxy or whatever from the videos I saw about it. But this one, how would I describe it? It's I don't know, linen, cotton. I don't know, these threads or whatever. It's a nice feeling. I really love the wires. I think the only complaint I would have is that in the movie it got damaged pretty quickly, and since this is like a dirty outfit, like a raggedy look, it would be nice if they added those bullet hole details from that scene I mentioned before, the painted black scene. I wish there was more bullet holes or whatever in the along the cape. I think it got like everywhere on them. Like I know this suit's impenetrable in the comics and the movie. It never got like torn up or something. But this cloak, it really got shot up. But it's in perfect condition with this one. Besides the frayed edges, but that's the only complaint I have with the cape. I just wish it had bullet holes, but. And something I didn't mention is there's like a glossy feeling in the lightning bolt, but the rest is like tough matte, which is a nice detail, but I still wish it was just it came with that throne diorama base for all the releases. Like I don't think this deserves a DX like deluxe title just because it doesn't come with a whole bunch. Like I know it's an impressive head sculpt, but they threw around the DX, or they did not throw around DX for what was it, Mighty Thor, the Jane Foster Thor, and she also had the rolling eyes. So I don't know what would make this DX exactly, because I know the other releases they had the nice looking base and the extra lighting effects, but for me, I don't know if it's like worthy of docking points. I kind of think it is. I just wish it was advertised as a standard release instead of having that deluxe title. But I'm still, this cape kind of saved this figure for me because otherwise it would have been looking a little boring. Besides that light up chest symbol, I do like that. But I think for me the cape's gonna stay on in my display. I do like how the light shines through the cloak. The thread is so thin that it still shines through, and like it creates like you could still see the tiny threads behind the, or I guess in front of the light. Let me see. I don't know if it'll show on camera, but I love that effect, that glow on it. I was afraid I was afraid the cloak might block the light, but it's not going to be a problem because it is so bright. But it was kind of a pain trying to get the electric effect over the cloak, like over the head and cloak. But I guess there is more protection with it. Well, I guess not so much protection because there might be some staining still if you leave it on too long. But I can't decide if I want to keep it on because it does look silly, and I like silly. It's kind of like a joke character because you know all those memes of the hierarchy is about to change or whatever from DC when The Rock tried to take over, but nothing happened. But
Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
I'm glad DC's back on track, but not to say I hated the DCEU. I got a lot of DCEU figure. Oh shit, I don't look good right now.
Hey, bitch, what?
Yeah, cut that out. What was I going about? It was a little. I guess this pose kind of similar to the first pose, except it's just not as leaning forward as much. I think it's a bit safer than what it was, but this was my idea of one hand out, one fist ready to punch or whatever, with the electric effects all over. I did find out you could access the knee a little bit, but the joint pokes out of it, so it might damage it just because I probably pushed the limits of that more than I was supposed to. But I did bend it as much as I could. I don't think I was, or I forgot the knee pad. My bad. I think it's stuck on okay. I try to create a lot of overlapping just to show how strong the wind is, but I don't think you'll be able to see the chords from the front on pose. So I try to use the cloak to my advantage to hide any wires, but I'm not going to be able to cover this part because the waist clamp, I don't think I mentioned it yet, but you can't push it downwards. It'll only fit at the top just because this thing to connect the matchbox, or I guess they call it the multi-tab box. I don't know what's the official name, but it only connects to the top with that little clip. Or I guess you could switch it out for that the belt clip, but I don't like putting stuff on the clothing when I can. If it's like these little clips, I don't really like stressing that out. If it's not necessary, like I'll stress out a fabric for a pose, but if it's just for this little matchbox, I think it's safer to just connect it to the flight pole. But let's see. I think you could still tell it's The Rock, even with the cloak covering the bald head. But it was hard to. Did I already talk about how hard it was to shape the cloak? Because in the film, it does have that like triangular triangle shape, but I'm not that great at styling. I don't know how to create that much weight. Or I think I did an okay job with this flow, but the hood part, I didn't want it to look like a clan member or something like that, but because it wasn't poking out that much, but and I wanted some of the wind to push it on the side over here, just because the wind is going that way, like that way. That's how I have it on my collection. Or I'll showcase it another day, but I have the wind going a certain way, and where I'll put them, the capes flow a certain way, so that's why it had to push a certain way. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm going about. I'm kind of rambling, but with the I don't know if I mentioned either if there are some hooks to connect it so it looks seamless for this chest piece. I don't know if it'll show on camera. It's this hook. You could connect it and disconnect. There's another one on the left side, but I left it hidden underneath just because I think it was kind of stretching it out. So I didn't want to push it too much, so I just left it unhooked. And it's just behind the body over there. You can't see it anymore, but it's really behind the back. But I think I'll make it a theme where I save the best pose in my opinion for the last one, just because that's how I'm gonna leave it in how it is as long as I can, or until I come up with something better. But I think this is the best as it's gonna get, and I'm not. I thought I'd be disappointed with this figure, but I had a lot of fun with this cloak. I really love this cloak, but I was thinking of sharing these effects with my Jane Foster figure, but I think I'm just gonna keep it on the Black Adam, just because it gives it more color on this one, and I think Mighty Thor has enough colors with the deep browns and deep reds. This one needed a lot more color, and it does. You do get the accessories to make it pop. I'll give it that. So I think for a score, the only things I dock it away points is it doesn't include that second head sculpt. I think it just should have included it for every kind of release, and they should have named it standard. I think it's bad marketing just to release 3 versions of the same figure. I think just 2 versions is fine. And they should have made like, I know it was cheaper for the DX29, but it should have been even more cheaper just because there wasn't that diorama base. And the accessories it does come with is good. Like, I love the cloak, I love the lightning effects, but there's not that many hands. That's the Supergirl hand. I'm not counting that, but... And what else? I don't know if I showed off. It came with the rolling eyeball system, but the head's big enough that you can use your finger. And the second thing was it didn't include bullet holes in that cape. Well, this is the clean version before the shootout, I think, but let me see. Oh, there it is. It's kind of low res, but it was much more torn apart in the movie, and I think that would have gave it more life if they did design it with all the battle damage. So that's 2 points down. Let me think. Oh, the restrictions. It's a bit stiff with the articulation, so I will dock a point for that because I love going super dynamic, but you can't get that crazy. It is still okay, but I just want greatness considering how expensive they are. But so I don't want just okay, I want greatness. But like, it's still impressive for what it can do with all the electronics in the chest. You can still I have it hunched forward a bit, not as much as I'd like to, but it's still okay. But those knees, that's a big problem for me. I wish it was more of a 90-degree bend. It's more like, I don't even think it is 45 degrees. It's less than 45 degrees, but the ankles are okay. It's just those knees are a big problem for me. And a little bit of the head articulation, it's a bit restricted. But yeah, I think it's just the head sculpt's really great. So I don't know if I go 7 or 7.5, but I'd only found 3 flaws. Those 3s I mentioned: articulation, the fact that this is called a DX when it's not a DX, but and what was that? Oh, the cape. I wanted the battle damage on the cape. But those are only 3 things. I think I'll give it a 7.5 just because I love how strong the wires are. Usually Hot Toys, the wires are super weak. It's ridiculous, but this one I'm really happy with. But But yeah, I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.
Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana.